4 things holding you back from success and my solutions. That's this week on An Intentional Business Life. Hi guys, welcome to An Intentional Business Life, where the intent is to have a business that just makes you a ton of money so you can just get on and enjoy life. That's the only reason we have a business, from my perspective anyway. But the 4 things that might be holding you back from success, and I want to share with you the solutions that I've come up with and has worked for me. The number one, it's always the number one, and it is self-doubt. We've all had it, we've all been there. And look, self-doubt creeps in for many reasons. Sometimes we think we've got the great idea and we start, and we're rocking along and it gets exciting, and then it gets a little bit harder and a bit harder and a bit harder, and a few appointments don't go well, and a few applications maybe for funding, or maybe, trying to make that sale don't go well, and self-doubt starts to creep in. And it's that point that a lot of people quit and they go look for the next shiny object. Guys, that's just how it is. That's just a pattern. That's us learning. That's our feeling our way through. That's pushing through some of the barriers. Self-doubt is really interesting. I remember when I first started a petitioning company, I had this great idea to make modular walls that would just click together, no screws, no glue, move around whenever you want. Crazy idea. I got told you couldn't do it, but I had an idea in my head. But I do remember when I very first started, there was a really nice Greek guy, and he let me use 50 square meters in his hay factory. So I kind of barricaded off and had a little place where I could do my petitioning, start building them. But I can tell you, there was days there I was sitting on upturned buckets, as you do when you're a tradie, and really wondering what the heck I was doing. I wasn't selling, it was a real struggle, and the self-doubt started to come in. And I have a rule: do whatever it takes to fund the dream until the dream funds itself. So at that stage I was doing flushing and gyprock walls, putting them up for people, sanding, doing a little bit of painting, but I just persisted. I found out what was working and what wasn't working, made my adjustments. I started to use different language. I started to learn when I said certain things, that clicked and that resonated with people. And when I said other things, it didn't. So I guess self-doubt just came from that learning experience and being prepared just to go, all I'm doing at the moment is learning what works and what doesn't work. And this is the big one that I did. I decided, you got this rule, you are the sum of the 5 people that you're surrounded by. Well, that might have applied in the olden days, but not anymore, because, we can still have those people around us. We just don't talk business with them or dreams with them or aspirations with them. No, we can go online, we can join business clubs, and we can actually choose 4 or 5 people we want around us. And normally we start off with 1. That becomes our mentor, and then we get 2, then we get 3, then we get 4. Because as we get 1 mentor, we kind of learn what works for us. The type of person that works for us helps us get to where we're going to be. So the solution to self-doubt is start finding those mentors and those clubs. And look, you can be on YouTube, you can be on whatever platform, you could be on Facebook, you could be someone physical who's a mentor that you catch up with. Be careful who you share your dreams with, I guess what I'm saying. Select the 4 or 5, start off with 1 and build your team around you, your mentorship team, your momentum team. Those people are going to drive you. And I tell you, they're not going to let self-doubt stop you. You're still going to have self-doubt because we're humans. But by having these people around you, it's going to stop it. It's going to stop it from stopping you, I should say. So that's how you get rid of self-doubt. Look, it's perfectly natural. Accept it. Look for what works, what doesn't work. But the big key here is to go find yourself people that you can surround yourself with. Choose your 5. And it doesn't mean you have to go dropping friends and doing all that drastic stuff, that makes us all feel uncomfortable. And you can't get rid of your relatives anyway. Normally, they're the biggest doubters of the lot. So you just don't talk about it. Be particular who you talk about, what you're doing with, and choose your 5. So that's how you get rid of self-doubt, or get rid of it stopping you getting to where you want to go. Now, the other one is another really big one, and that is when we go for ourselves is overwhelm. We got so many things to do these days. I often say, in business these days, it's just about as much as the social media content you're going to produce and the amount of marketing you're going to do as to the actual job you're going to do. That's going to determine your altitude that you're going to reach. But there's a lot, there's emails to answer, there's Facebook posts to do, there's YouTube posting to do, there's videos to make, there's podcasting. Oh my goodness. And it really gets overwhelming. So what you've really got to do to try and get control of this is get off your computer for a moment. This is a really big thing. Get off it. Just go get yourself, a pack of index cards or something, and start breaking them up. Get yourself one of those little card boxes. Try this. Try get yourself out of the digital world for a moment and just break it up. Okay, these are the tasks I do when I go outside. These are the tasks I've got to do around my house, around my apartment, my jobs I've got there. Here's my marketing tasks. Here's my video production ideas. Here's my podcasting ideas, whatever it is you're actually doing. Break them down, and then as ideas pop in your head, write them down and file them in an order. So you can say, when I've done this one, I'll do that one. So you can go in an order. And one of the biggest things you can do is, rather than these people saying, you need a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan, well, you can have a vision for that, but not a plan for that. I tell you, by the time you get 5, 10, 15 years, everything's going to change. Your plan, whatever you're trying to detail now, is not going to work. And I think we're moving that fast. My strategy for getting out of overwhelm is not to plan too far ahead. 2 weeks, 4 weeks at the most. Everything after that becomes flexible, fluid. It may be in the diary for some reason, but it isn't really anchored. I give myself permission to be flexible. But what I am strict on is my next 2 weeks of productivity. Now, when it's just 2 weeks, it's kind of a bite-sized chunk, and it takes you out of overwhelm. It's not too much, and you can diarize that. You can put your tasks in. But the biggest thing I've learned is by having those index cards, physically writing something, not typing, but physically writing, it engages your brain more actively in those tasks you're putting down. And by having them broken down, when I go out the house, when I go shopping, when I live in Australia, so we go to Bunnings, the hardware store, I've got a few tasks written down there. I've got my jobs around the house, obviously, to do. Oh, joy not. I don't like doing jobs around the house, but they need doing. I've got my little marketing things I want to do. I've got my videos I want to produce, podcasts and stuff like that. So I put them in their little sections. I've developed a few little sections, put them in my card file box. I can flick it open the night before, have a look, check my diary. Yep, that's what I'm doing. But I tend not to project past 2, maximum 4 weeks. Everything after that is super flexible. Talking about super flexible, look at I just looked at this catamaran over here. I hope you can see this one. Oh, look at that. Some lucky, well, I shouldn't say lucky person, because obviously they went out and did whatever it took to get that. But that is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how big that thing is. I mean, this is a 51-footer here. As you know, this is my favourite leopard catamaran over here. But that is, yeah, wow, love it. What a scenery today. Look at this weather today. I was talking to an older lady down here, she was saying this morning she wouldn't be dead for quids, and I really can't blame her. I wouldn't be either. How you going, guys? Okay, so what else holds people back? Well, being realistic. Oh my goodness, being realistic holds people back. You know, I've spoken to people, you know, a lot of people, and you ask them what they're doing, they tell you, and you go, oh, well, why did you get into the first place? Then they tell you what they really wanted to do, and they're miles apart. But they go, oh, you know, but that's not for me, that's for other people. And they start being realistic. And I'm like, you don't have to be realistic. You can be unrealistic. Come on, guys, just sit down, you know. If you're an artist, for instance, and you love painting horses, and then you tell yourself, oh, there's probably not enough work in painting horses, I might just paint, you know, landscapes, because they're the biggest seller, landscapes and seascapes. But if that's not your passion, you can paint landscapes and seascapes to sell, so you can fund your dream until your dream funds itself. But paint that picture. If you want to be a world famous horse artist, painter, go for it. Write it down. Decide which, you know, which cups you need to go to. Decide which horses you want to do. You know, really get good at that craft. Yeah, you might have to do something to fund the dream along the way, but that doesn't mean you don't have to have the dream. You don't have to have the ambition. You don't have to not have the steps you're going to take to get there. And it's the same with all business. You know, I was talking to a really nice guy the other day, super talented guy, you know, and he really helps teams. I'm not going to say human resources, because more of a communication expert. Really gets your teams talking to each other to increase your productivity. And it was just when I was talking to him, and he deals in groups. And we started talking about his business, you know, and he's a one-man operator, and he says, you know, how do I earn some more money? You know, how do I get the 10, 20, 15% increase? And I'm just, who wants that? Let's double, triple, let's quadruple it. And I'm looking, I'm going, someone with your skills, you know, and we talked about advisory boards. He's sat on boards, he's run boards, he's perfect. And advisory boards are a big thing in companies that want to get to the next level. Normally privately owned businesses, but they're looking, you know, they might have 30, 40, 50, 100 staff, and they're looking to take that next level. Advisory boards is a really good thing for them. And we talked about how he could do that, and then how he could model that, and then how he could get a team of people around the world implementing his system that he's designed. You know, we're going, this could be a worldwide business. Instantly, he said, oh, just like just be in Perth. No. Aim for the world. Aim for the world. Very simple. Most people that I meet that are in business, I can show them someone doing their exact same business, making millions. And they want 10 and 15 and 20% increases. Come on, guys, get unrealistic. Don't be realistic, be unrealistic. Look, I don't know if you're into boats, you might be into planes, you might be into cars, you might be into, you know, motorbikes. I don't care what you might be into travel. Look at this. These people who own these things are unrealistic in their dreams. You know, they're unrealistic. Someone probably told them, oh, a boat is nothing more than, you know, a hole in the water that sucks up money. And these people went, who cares? Who cares? That's not for them. They want to be unrealistic. Now, I'm just going to go to my book, guys. So, good morning, guys. How are you? And make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I did say 4, didn't I? I probably turned too many pages here. I might just chop this bit out, but yeah, you know I don't. I just let it run so you can see what I'm doing. So we've done the self-doubt, we've done the overwhelm, we've done, yeah, don't be realistic. Oh, here's one that holds people back. Perfectionism. Oh my goodness, I got to get it right before I start. I'm going to tell you a funny story. I got to share a funny story because you think, you know, you can't do something because you haven't got it quite right yet. You're mad. So this is Michael. So I told you earlier I did this petitioning business, right? And what it was, I said, I want a petitioning business. I want these panels. They're just walls, you know, in office walls. They were 1.2 meters wide. Clicked together, no screws, no glue, you know, and they go up in 25% of the time with normal gyprock, nice and clean, really simple. So I'm talking about this and saying, this is what I'm going to do. And a friend of mine said, so how are you going to do it? I said, well, I can't. There must be some kind of locking mechanism out there, that I could use that I just haven't found yet, but I'm sure it's there and I'll be able to do it. And I was talking to a real estate friend, and he said, that sounds great, Mike. He said, build me some panels and put them up. Oh, here we go. We've got a friend for the morning. Hello, mate. Mate, you're a YouTube star. He obviously likes the content. And I hadn't designed the mechanisms, but I had these panels that were hollow core and they had a bit of a gap at the top there. And the only thing I could come up with was to use bulldog clips. Those black clips, the big, thick, heavy-duty paper clips that you get, bulldog clips. So there were 50mm bulldog clips I used, and it could get underneath the panels because they're on little stirrups that hold them off the ground. And I used to clip them from underneath and clip them from on top, then put a capping on so you couldn't actually see how I joined them, because I was quite embarrassed about that's how I was doing it. That's crazy. I actually went to iridium boride magnets in the end, so the actual panels pulled together in a special side clip we developed. But talk about not being perfect. Talk about just do it and just muddle through and work it along the way. That's what you've got to do. Forget perfectionism. I'm telling you, perfectionism will lead you to burnout. You will just burn out so fast if you try with perfectionism, and burnout is all connected to overwhelm. So stop trying to be perfect. Just get some ideas and just force yourself to push through. And if it ain't perfect, if you're a bit embarrassed about it at the start, you might be embarrassed about your logo. I was embarrassed about my logos, consistently embarrassed about logos. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Forget perfectionism. They're my 4 things that I think will hold you back from success and my solutions. I'll see you next week on An Intentional Business Life.